This is the all-new Yeti Ranchero 22-liter backpack, and we are gonna do an epic review. And I've got some extra insight because I just spent the last week traveling with this bag. From Connecticut to Philly to Chicago to Hong Kong, this guy was with me the whole time, so I got a lot to say. In this video, we're gonna talk about the pros, we're gonna talk about the cons, and if you're not quite sure this is the bag for you, you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video where I'll make some alternative bag recommendations that might better suit your needs. Let's talk about the gist of the Yeti Ranchero 22-liter backpack. And this might be a little bit of a controversial release for a few different reasons. If you're not aware, Yeti is a US-based brand. I actually just visited their flagship retail store in Austin a few months ago. And they're known for making water bottles and coolers, but they recently acquired a backpack brand called Mystery Ranch. Now, Mystery Ranch is known for their Urban Assault backpack, which we reviewed years ago, and I don't have with me anymore, unfortunately. But it's a very popular bag. It's probably the most popular bag in Hong Kong that I see on a daily basis. So what Yeti has done is they've purchased Mystery Ranch. Mystery Ranch still exists for now, and they've taken Urban Ranch's iconic Urban Assault design and have made it into a Yeti bag, which they've dubbed the Ranchero, which is where this is getting a little, I don't know, spicy. Because obviously from a business perspective, Yeti can do whatever they want. They own Mystery Ranch and they can bring that design language over through multiple of their brands. But some people in our hardcore, extra nerdy community are a little concerned because there have been whispers that Yeti might be sunsetting Mystery Ranch as a brand and just taking the Mystery Ranch designs for the Yeti brand. And there's the juicy drama for you. If you got any other details on the Yeti Mystery Ranch sort of like relationship, let me know in the comments below. But what's interesting is that while they've taken a lot of inspiration from the Urban Assault, it's not a carbon copy of that bag. Let's talk about some of the top features of the Ranchero. We've got that signature 1, 2, 3 zipper access into the main compartment. A super sleek aesthetic. Like in my opinion, significantly sleeker than the Urban Assault is, but that does come with some compromises that I'll talk about throughout the entire review. We've got 1, 2 side pockets, great for water bottles. A top stash pocket right here, which I was a big fan of while traveling. A super firm back panel, and one of my favorite features, the fact that it can self-stand like a boss. The 22-liter version currently comes in 3 color options, and it should be noted there's a 22-liter and a 27-liter available. 22 liters is a great size for everyday carry or light travel, like a good suitcase companion. We'll talk about how good of a suitcase companion this actually is 1, 2, 3 sections from now. For the dimensions, we're looking at a height of around 17.5 inches, a width of around 11 inches, and a fully packed out depth of around 9 inches. The 22-liter Ranchero comes in weighing a hefty 3.2 pounds on scale number 1, and we're getting 3.3 pounds on scale number 2. The bag maintains its structure very well, so it's actually empty right now. Now that weight is because of the padding in the bag, which means when it's empty, like it is right now, it maintains its structure and shape very well. This is the Ranchero when it's worn on the Nomadization team. For reference, I'm 5'8", and our media manager Margaret's 5'2". Yeti products get anywhere from a 3 to a 5-year warranty against manufacturing defects, but that's only applicable to the original owner. And for all that, the 22-liter runs around 225 USD, and the 27-liter runs around 275 USD. And if at any point in this review you're thinking to yourself, Ranchero, let's Rancher go, am I right? I love this bag. And you're gonna make a purchase, we highly recommend that you do so with the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes. But that link also helps support the Nomadization YouTube channel and team, so we can keep making the best darn bag reviews on the web. Thank you very much. Okay, let's talk about the front of the Yeti Ranchero. Now, one caveat is I did review the Mystery Ranch Urban Assault, I was like 3.5 years ago. And I know the bag, but I'm not an expert in that bag. But I remember it, and I see it every freaking day. But one thing I will say is I think that Yeti has done some things better with this bag and some things not better. But the first thing on the better side is the aesthetic, in my opinion. I think this looks significantly just cleaner and more streamlined, and a lot of that has to do with the way that it maintains its shape. The Mystery Ranch was a bit more drapey, but there's a lot of padding in this bag, which makes it look smart and self-stand really, really well, no matter how it's packed out. But that does come at the cost of some functionality and, like we said, the weight. 22-liter bag at 3.4 pounds, it's not light. As of right now, I'm not sure what fabric Yeti is utilizing for this bag, but I could say it's very high quality. On here we have some sort of, I would guess, nylon. Yeah, definitely some sort of nylon, possibly low denier, like 420 ballistic weave. On the bottom, significantly thicker material with sort of a gloss to it. And the water bottles are a different fabric, and we'll talk about those in a second. Overall, I think the fabric is gorgeous. durable, waterproof, stain-proof, and it's a huge contributing factor to the bag's aesthetic. Now, Yeti's branding is quite loud at the top here, but the good thing is that fuzzy fabric is a patch. But the good thing is, if you don't want to see Yeti's branding, you can cover it with a patch. You know what to do. On the front, we got a couple external lash points on either side, which work with Yeti's strap system right here, which allows you to clip these into place, so you can therefore carry things externally on your bag if you so wish. Something that I personally will never, ever do. But really, it's a very clean front, not a lot going on, which means that we can now skip to the next section. Let's talk about the middle of the Yeti Ranchero backpack 22 liter. Starting on either side, we got 1, 2 water bottle holders. This uses a really nice fabric. It's got a little bit of elasticity to it. Love this fabric. And a gusset on the bottom for additional expansion. But I will say these are not the most functional water bottle holders that I've ever used. Like I said, I just took out this bag. We're gonna train around the Northeast, then a flight to Chicago, and then flying over to Hong Kong. These are definitely tighter water bottle holders. I'll show you what I mean in just a minute when we fully pack out the bag. But really the star of the show is getting into this main compartment where you have this tri-zip access. It's kind of like an alien. You know what I mean? Now, I love the innovation that Mystery Rancher brought to the table here, which again, I don't know if they actually invented this. This could have existed for centuries. But I do like how Yeti has implemented these little nylon pull tabs, giving you a little bit more leverage when you want to open and close. These are number 10, chunky YKK PU-coated zippers. And PU-coated zippers have a polyurethane coating, which is phenomenal for weather resistance. But zippers like this can get a little sticky sometimes. So these pull tabs do come in handy, but do keep in mind that a PU-coated zipper can peel sometimes over time. Depends on a lot of factors. Now, a few notes about the main compartment. First of all, this is marketed as a 22-liter backpack, and having reviewed 400 plus backpacks at this point, I could say it don't feel like 22 liters. And it's funny, I gave the bag to our media manager, Margaret. I'm like, Margaret, how big do you think it is? She goes 18 liters, and that's exactly what I think it is too. Like, definitely closer to 18 than it is 22 liters. Inside the main compartment, we have 1, 2 zippered pockets at the top, 2 stash pockets at the bottom. I can see right here I got a bunch of EDC stuff. Basically a lot of the stuff that I just brought on my recent trip. I got a big old tech pouch here from Alpaca. Put that at the bottom. My new journal holder from Lockbee. God, I'm obsessed with this. We're gonna do a full review soon. One of the best things I've ever bought in my life. But you can see right now what I'm kind of talking about. You know, we already got these couple things in. I know we're already like halfway full. With a 22-liter backpack, usually there'd be more space than this. Like I said, it just feels closer to 18 to 20 liters. Now, we do have these side pockets right here, which I don't think the original Mystery Ranch Urban Assault backpack has. So there are my glasses in there and a portable battery on the other side. The top 2 zippered pockets, throw my nicotine pouches, keep me off the vape. Got a protein bar. Now, before we fully pack it out, let's talk laptops. Now, it says on the site that this will fit most 13 and 15-inch laptops. So my 13-inch MacBook Pro slides nicely in, very snug. Traveling with this bag around the northern region of America and now Asia, I felt like my laptop was safe. The false bottom, yeah, we got a little bit right here. But this back panel is so well padded, which kind of has its own pros and cons as well. But overall, my laptop definitely felt safe in this compartment. You can see here I got a cutout of a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and this will also fit. 17-incher though, definitely not gonna happen. I've got a fake tablet right here. Gonna go ahead and slide that in. Very nice. But again, let's talk about space. You can see, you know, my 2 things at the bottom here. This is really not packing out super well for the advertised size. You know, once I put the hoodie in there, that's kind of it. Book's not gonna happen. But also, Shoe Dog, best book I've ever read in my life. Read it, highly recommended. Zip that on up. You can see we've got a little extra space on the top, so I'll throw another tech pouch in there. Now we are fully loaded. Now let's talk about these side water bottle pockets, because they're not the worst. But when this bag's fully packed out, they definitely are tight, right? So I got a 24-ounce Columbia here, and well, it'll get in, but it's tight. It's really tight. I would have liked a little bit more looseness, because I don't think we're gonna get this 1 liter. Oh, also a Yeti. Will the Yeti fit in the Yeti? Okay, I mean, it's working. We're getting in there. I just think that they're a little tight is all. But that tightness does contribute to that sleek form factor that this bag has. But now that sexy form factor is gone. Let's talk about one thing that I quite loved about this bag, especially traveling with it, which was this top pocket right here. Also protected with a PU-coated YKK zipper. I also like Yeti's zipper pullers, super simple. Just got this nylon cord, this little Hypalon melty thing at the top. I don't know what they're called, but I like them. In this pocket, you got a key ring and then a mesh divider. And I like this pocket because of its quick access and its depth. Because actually, you see this whole like top region of the alien looking bag? That's all volume that this pocket gives you. So obviously it'll be able to fit a bunch of small stuff, but let's test bulkier stuff, right? Like a big old hard drive. See? The volume, deceptively volume-y. Little umbrella. Oh yeah, absolutely fits. You can throw a freaking bulky adapter in there, your wallet. Not my favorite location for a key leash, might I add. Just difficult to grab because you gotta like take the bag off and then unzip it and then you're doing this dance. Not my favorite dance in the world. But this pocket was great, especially for travel, right? Because I had the bag underneath the seat in front of me. So whenever I needed things that were in this pocket, super easy to grab. Big fan of that. And the final note on the middle section is this top handle right here. It's okay, gets the job done. We got some space to put the hand in. There's no real padding to speak of. It's super thin. Not like a big old chunky handle that you want on a bag like this, but it's got plenty of reinforced stitching, so it does feel super durable. Okay, let's talk about the back of the Yeti Ranchero 22-liter backpack. This is a really interesting part of this bag because I found it super comfortable, but also like not super comfortable. One cool thing that Mystery Ranch always did with the Urban Assault backpack that I appreciated was even for a smaller backpack, right, at 22 liters, or in this case, like 22 liters, was they always added load lifters, which is usually more common on a larger backpack, like 30, 40 liters. But Mystery Ranch always said, nope, we gonna give you load lifters on this little guy. And it's nice because they're not like real load lifters where they're actually like a hiking bag kind of load lifters, but they are like shoulder strap stabilizers at the very minimum. And they definitely help to relieve the weight of the bag less on your back and putting it a bit more on your shoulders and upper torso. So I like that. I wasn't as crazy though about the shoulder straps in the back panel, at least for like me personally and how, you know, what I find comfortable. Reason being the shoulder straps are a little more on the dense side and they're not the widest. Look at this, we got about just over 2 inches versus like a backpack from Air. You can see we got almost 3 inches and you know, that 3/4 of an inch. It does go a long way with the distribution of weight. But we do have some nice cushion going on. It's denser, don't get me wrong, but it's like still cushiony in its own way. We got an external lash point right here if you want to clip anything onto the shoulder strap. And then a sternum strap, which I was very, very pleased with. I was walking, it felt like miles with this bag through train stations and airports, and like I was rocking sternum strap the entire time. Again, sternum straps helps to redistribute the weight, protects your back. You've got a bunch of different external lash points that you can connect the sternum strap to. And I love this. We have this little dangle stopper right here, which makes this little guy euphoric. And then at the bottom of the shoulder straps, we got an interesting excess strap management system going on. As to where you see what's going on right here. Sometimes you have excess strap, but sometimes if you do like one of these, you don't. And the reason for that is that you have like this little nylon cord right there that is aiding the strap management system. A little too cute for me, but I do like to wear my bag nice and tight, which again, made this little guy happy. But what didn't make me as happy is this back panel, which like I said is more of a personal preference because, you know, hear that, this is a stiff back panel, which is gonna be a love or a hate thing depending on what you like. You know, for me, I like a little bit softer of a back panel with a little bit more cushion going on because you can feel this hardness, especially here at the bottom. It kind of dug into the lower back a little bit. And Margaret just put it on for our shoot outside and she agreed. It was one of the first things she said. She's like, wow, I feel this more than I do in Evergoods bag. And one thing that doesn't help with the lower back pain is this luggage pass-through holder because it's got a buckle right there. But on the bright side, you can actually unclip this bad boy and stow it away. Back here, a little more challenging when the bag is fully packed out, but it's still stowable. But again, when the bag is fully packed out, now you got this little extra bolt going on here and it was already noticeable at the lower back. So as long as you're somebody who doesn't mind a stiffer back panel, you'll be okay with this bag. But if you're looking for like a softer back panel experience, this might not be your cup of tea. The luggage pass-through holder though did get the job done quite nicely. And I like the positioning of this for 2 reasons. One, it allows you to carry your bag this way as opposed to this way. But 2, when I was traveling with this bag, I had a huge suitcase, like a monster. And it only has like the little chode handle. It doesn't like fully extend, right? It's just like a little guy. So if the luggage pass-through holder was centrally located on the bag, I wouldn't have been able to really put it on the handle because it's lower on the bag. It actually allowed me to carry it on this larger suitcase, which I thought was a really cool call. And a bit of elasticity as well. It might be like too elastic to be honest, as to where like the bag was kind of like doing like, it never tumbled over, but it was always like, don't fall. And it didn't. But it kind of gave me a little heart attack a few times. But overall, a pretty good luggage pass-through holder. And just one more comfort test. I've stowed away the pass-through holder, popping it on. It's not an uncomfy bag. Nice and tight, got the sternum strap. Get these load lifters. You see, when I'm really cranking these load lifters, it kind of takes the bag off my bottom back, which is like, this is better, you know? So if you're wearing it tight and you're not, you know, 6'5", like big old dude or dudette, I think it's okay, but like, if you like to wear your bag a little bit looser, like this, like that's when like this bottom part becomes significantly more noticeable. I know what you're thinking. Wow, this dude's really talking a lot about this bag. But listen, like I'm very passionate about bags. and travel and everyday carry gear. And I wanna make sure that you find the best bag for your particular needs. And if you're into bags and travel and everyday carry, you might be smitten to know that here at Nomads Nation, we don't just do reviews on YouTube, but we actually also have the Nomads Nation newsletter. And in that newsletter, you can kind of look at me as like your reporter in the field, where I'm letting you know all the best travel gear and everyday carry gear and all kinds of gear that's coming out. I'm gonna tell you where the best deals are, where the coolest collabs are that are happening, what the newest drops are, everything in between. So if you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in this awesome carry community, then be sure to sign up for the Nomads Nation newsletter, which you can do by finding this globe emoji in the description below. I hope to see you in your inbox. All right, let's talk about the overall pros and the cons of the Yeti Ranchero 22-liter backpack. Pro number one, super sleek look. Pro number two is the convenience and awesomeness of this top pocket. And pro number three, you gotta love a bag that self-stands, and this thing self-stands like a champ. But on the flip side, let's talk about some of the cons. Con number one, the water bottle holders were a little bit on the tighter side. Con number two is I do feel like the bag comes in a little bit tighter than its advertised capacity. And con number three, you just gotta be careful with the comfort of this back panel, especially at this bottom region with that luggage pass-through holder. But you also might be thinking to yourself, Aaron, that thing is good. That thing is a beauty, and I'm totally gonna buy one. Well, if that's the case, just a reminder, we do recommend that you do so with the first link in the description. That link makes sure that you get the best price, and if there's any discount codes, that's what they'll be. But if you're not quite sold, let me talk about some of these alternative recommendations that might better suit your needs. Alt rec number one is pretty easy. It's gonna be the Mystery Ranch Urban Assault. This is a great pick for you if you like the tri-zip, you like everything that's going on about this bag, but you maybe just want a bit more functionality. I don't think the Mystery Ranch looks quite as good. Maybe it looks a little bit more mean, but not as streamlined and slick. Sort of like pros and cons depending on what you're looking for, but it is the OG. And my second alternative recommendation is gonna be the King Kong Core backpack. Great pick for you if you're kind of like that tactical look. You want a bag that functions well in a city environment, but also at the gym. And you want a bag that comes in at a little bit lower of a price point. Both of these bags are awesome. So is the Yeti Ranchero. I really enjoyed my time with it. But if you want to learn more about the alternative recommendations, you can do so by watching these videos right here. If you got any questions about any bags, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron. This is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you next time.